All right, we're going to move on to logical fallacy number 10, and this is the first of the four what I would call more difficult logical fallacies. These are the ones that my students tend to have the hardest time with. So we'll start with non sequitur. Non sequitur literally means not in sequence. And basically what that means is that the conclusion that you drew does not seem to follow from the premise. It's basically like this drawing here. You're saying A is true, B is true, so Z is true. And you missed a couple of dots here. You didn't connect a few of the things that we needed to connect. Let me show you some examples. Racism is bad, and we don't want racists in positions of power, so vote for Billary. Okay, so we said racism's bad, and we don't want racists in positions of power, so vote for Billary. There were a couple of things missing here. You could say racism is bad, we don't want racists in power. Trump is a racist person, and Billary is the only person that could defeat Trump. So we must vote for Billary because racism is bad. We don't want a racist in power. Trump is a racist. Billary is the only one who could beat Trump, so let's vote for Billary. That's connecting the dots at least. But written like this, there are some gaps. Okay. Same thing here. Lying is bad. We don't want liars in positions of power, so vote for Trump. Lying is bad. We don't want liars in positions of power, so vote for Trump. It's unreasonable. It's a fallacy because it's not connected. This is an example of maybe how to connect it. Lying is bad. We don't want liars in positions of power. Billary is a liar. Trump is the only person with a reasonable chance to defeat Billary, so let's vote for Trump. And of course, each of those things you'd need to prove along the way. Okay. Now, the reason I think that this one's tough is because it's really, really hard to differentiate between a non sequitur, a red herring, and a slippery slope. So, if you remember, red herring is a distraction. Sometimes it feels like it's a distraction with a non sequitur because it's going to somewhere where you didn't expect it to go. So it can feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. A non sequitur, though, usually is more related to the original claims, at least the ones that I've seen and used in class. They're more clearly connected to the original claims. I've seen people call non sequiturs more of just a broad category, and red herring is one of the sub things under that umbrella. But I would call them different. I mean, a red herring is a distraction. A non sequitur means that it's not following. I need more dots to connect. A slippery slope, if you'll remember, looks like this, where there were a lot of options and you're saying that inevitably it's going to lead to this one, even though there's no evidence to prove that that is the one that's going to go next. So instead of leaving out dots, like a non sequitur does, it includes all of them. It just speculates that it's really likely to happen, even though there's no evidence to support that. Okay, so a slippery slope doesn't miss steps. It just takes a lot of them down a big slope. A red herring is a distraction. Leads us somewhere completely different. And a non sequitur doesn't lead us somewhere completely different. It just skips over stuff. And we need some things to fill in the gaps. Okay, and as I said, there are different interpretations of this. I've seen people call a non sequitur just a broad umbrella and some other things underneath it, like a red herring. but for the purposes of this class, we're going to think of it like this, okay? Where you can tell where they might be going, but there's some things missing there. Okay, we're going to move on to straw man next.